streaming. Boom. Okay. So I think that's all good. Done so far. All right, so here we are. It's Friday evening already at the end of week 2 of the Delta course. Let me just get that going. There we go. Great. So it's been going okay. I've been pretty busy with work as well. And when I've had the time, I've been basically spending my time either reading up on the unit course pages or in some of the books, the recommended reading, the essential reading that they've given us. The book that I'm working on, or the chapter, the book I'm working on this week is How Languages Are Learned, the Spina book, I think, Longbauman and Spina, I think is the book title. I can check that because it is recommended reading for a lot of these things. It's this book right here. No, it's not that one. Oh, come on. Where did it go? Come on. Second language teaching. Oh, goodness. It's one of these. Oh, well, I've lost it. Anyway, so it's How Languages Are Learned. It has that purple and white cover. And so far, the course has been actually kind of enjoyable. That I am learning quite a bit about the different methodologies. This is Unit 1 that we finished on. I finished it Monday, Beijing time. I guess it was supposed to be finished by Sunday night, UK time, because everything's based on London time for this course. But this was, 8 chapters, 7 chapters or so, grammar, lexis, vocabulary, basically, ELT theories 1 and 2, reading 1 and 2, and then some exam focus as well. Got through most of the requirements for it. Got some pretty good feedback. Actually, I got through all the requirements. Got 71 out of 71 here. And I did all the tutor tasks as well, which included the tutor task here. Which this was the that was dealing a lot of phonology, form and focus, form and meaning and use. And this is what we had to. This is the template that we were given. And these were the 4 sentences that we had to break down. And I think I did a pretty good number on the first 3, but then the last one, I was sort of giving up already. It was sort of getting a little tiring, to tell you the truth, going through all of that stuff. If I can find my answers here, course week 1, and it wasn't bad. It just took a long time. And it required a lot of thinking. And so that's sort of what my issue was, is that it was something that I'd never sat down and actually thought about before. Differences, theory. No. Where I put that? Why can't I find it? All right. Well, yeah. I put it somewhere so I'd never lose it, and then I lost it. Right. Yeah, I did. I don't know where I put it. It's gone somewhere. And, here we are. Here we are. Found it. It's labeled properly. There we go. Okay, so I'll bring this over here. You guys can take a look at some of the things that we had to look at for this. Open this with OpenOffice as well. Zoom in a little bit. So this was the homework assignment that I submitted, and if you've already done the course, you probably know the answers already. So I did do, 1, 2, 3 of the 4. So I didn't do this one, I think because I just got tired, like I was sort of mentally exhausted at that point. So I submitted, and one of the tips that they give you is just to do as much as you can. Like, even if you don't have it, if you don't know the exact answer, put something down anyway. That way, at least you might get part marks. As far as I know, although they do mark you on spelling, and this, like, if you are like tasks 1 and 2 for paper 1 are a little bit different. That if you put down something and it's wrong, you get the whole answer wrong. But here for this mimics task 5, paper 1. So that's what this one sort of goes after, where you're breaking down this sentence. not just the sentence, sorry, not the sentence, the words in emboldened. So you only focus on that. And this was sort of the thing, this was all based on Martin Parrott's chapter 8 of his book, Grammar for English Teachers, I think it was, ESL teachers. And so this is what it is. I mean, it's a subject, we, past tense of irregular verb to go, went, and then past participle, which is abroad. Now, if you've never dealt with past participles before, I don't blame you. There's no reason to. I remember thinking, learning about this with dealing with like Latin and ancient Greek, but never in English, and I mean a bit in Ukrainian, but this doesn't exist in Mandarin Chinese, right? So it's not something that's very. I guess it's common in a lot of languages that have inflected endings, but in English, it's not something we really think about. Past simple, abroad is a dynamic verb. Abroad is a past participle as it follows the past tense of go. The meaning or use of this form, it's the past simple to talk about a completed action in the past that only happened once at a given time, last year. Use of went makes the sentence past tense. In the emboldened words, right? Possible learner problems, irregular form of go or went, so that would cause some issues for some learners. And then also use of the past participle. It's not we went to abroad, it's we went abroad. So dropping to, so it's not the infinitive, it's the past participle. Not the infinitive with to abroad, it's the past participle because it happens after another verb that is like that. So again, a good practice. I actually I was surprised that it wasn't as bad as I thought going through this exercise. It was a lot. I don't want to say it was easy, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I am very happy that I was able to at least submit 3 of the 4 sentences. One of the things that I didn't time myself on this, and the other thing I guess I'd have to brush up on is the verb tenses and everything for sure, because understanding what is the auxiliaries, the modals, and the past participles, and then any sort of like adjectives or anything like that. Like here, what was out the window? John was, okay, so that's past tense of is. Climbing, that's the past tense, was climbing. Out the window, is it climbing out, or is it was climbing, and out is a what? Is that an event verb, or is it an object verb? Good question. So this is sort of, I didn't get any specific information as to whether I was right or wrong on this, but that would sort of be my question, was something along those lines. And then, of course, you must go was the last one there. Use must would be shows a strong suggestion. I think it is. Use the present tense to show that the suggestion should be done soon. You must go to the doctor. But again, only the bold words. Subject plus auxiliary plus infinitive. It's a present simple. Go is a dynamic verb. Go is the bare infinitive as it follows the auxiliary. Must. This all sounds very foreign to you. It is. Chapter 8 of Martin Parrott's book. What's it? There we go. Part A. Words of grammar. Grammar for English language teachers. M. Parent, 2000. I think it's chapter 8 is the one that you should read for the verbs, and that'll give you a good overall look at. It basically gives you all the answers. It doesn't give you the exact answers, but it gives you the models that you need to be aware of in order to answer your homework. So that was with this one here, which is, so I'm happy with that one. I'm done with that. The other tasks, Lexi's, did we have a task for this one? I can't remember. No, we didn't. Second language acquisition, tutor task. Which one was this? This was comment on the similarities and differences. Principles, okay, so here's lesson plan 1, lesson plan 2, and you have to basically compare and contrast them, but again, using a template that they gave you. And so you'll notice here, again, it's bullet point, subheadings here, so template, number 1, principles and underlying approaches, differences, similarities, and then number 2, teacher / student roles. So breaking it down, making sure that is all nicely organized and very easy to read. And this one is part G. I'll pop this up here, give you a little look. So this is my answer. Again, we can open office. And this is how I broke it down. I just copied the template, and I didn't think about it too much. Again, it's kind of nice that they give you that template to work with, because that way you don't have to really think about all the flowery language that you can sometimes get caught up in when you're writing prose. I did copy the rubric, probably not the rubric, the template pretty closely. I left out one of the similarities here, and I think actually there was another one. I forgot to change everything, and the only reason that is because it, according to the question, it wanted. Let's see. So it wanted two sets. Principal and underlying, two approaches, and it wanted teacher and student rules, so 1 and 2, and it wanted 3 of each basically, because that's what differences, 3 bullet points, similarities, 3 bullet points, student rules, teacher rules, 3 bullet points. So that's what I went with. That's what I tried to create for each one. 3 differences, and I only got 1 similarity, because I think I was getting messed up here with the differences that. I was being too broad in my approach with the differences. I was comparing and contrasting in the same paragraph, and I wasn't separating differences from the similarities. So that's something I'm going to have to be aware of in the actual exam itself. In student-teacher roles, I think, I actually felt like I was repeating myself quite a bit with the answer to number 2, because I commented on a lot of that stuff in the differences role. So again, this was a little difficult because I was trying to figure out how you can sort of separate the differences from the similarities from the roles, because they say don't reuse a lot of the information. I go, well, I only have so much to work with anyway. At what point is it overlap? At what point is it evidence for the point that I'm trying to make? And that's sort of where I was getting caught up with. And that's kind of why I didn't get this one of the similarities here. I just copied the template, left it blank, and I never did get around to fixing it. Again, the tutor tasks for the course aren't marked, so it's not a big deal. If you don't finish something, you're just missing out on the attempt to do it under the tutelage of someone whose job is to guide you through this, basically. And then the other tutor task was part D. Okay, so it was also this one. All right, so this is a full Arabic lesson. This language has been popping up quite a bit lately. They seem to focus a lot on Arabic lessons in this course. I don't know why. But they give you a full lesson plan. Basically, well, they give you a bare bones lesson plan for a lesson that's going to be conducted in Arabic. 4 points or 4 sections to answer. The purpose of the sequence in stage A, 2A to C. So those 3, like what's the purpose of this? Which method? So each question number 1 has A, B, and C. Question 2 has A and B. Question 3, A, B, C. And then question 4 is A and B. This one required not so much bullet points. They said use bullet points, but then one of the answers that we were shown actually was more of a prose paragraph than a bullet point answer. So I guess a lot of it is up to sort of interpretation. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but at the same time, they do suggest to keep things sort of bullet point, and that way you sort of save your time and you save a lot of your energy as well. Where was my? So this is my answer to this one. Acts as icebreaker. And there again, I was just following the template, going bullet points. Don't write out long sentences. Each sentence is a full sentence, so every bullet point is a full sentence, or at least most of it. But I didn't worry too much about punctuation in here. I'm not sure if that's a big issue. I don't think it is if you're using bullet points. as long as punctuation isn't necessary to split up two sentences, right? If that sort of makes sense to you. But yeah, that was what I did. This one wasn't hard because it was more yickety yakety, blah 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 blah, how things are sort of going, rather like comparing, contrasting. Or sorry, not comparing, contrasting. Just analyzing, yeah, comparing and contrasting some parts of the lesson plan, and then making sure that you sort of pay attention to how the teachers and the students are interacting. That is kind of something that they point out every now and then. And you'll see that in this lesson plan, it's actually very simple how they've marked it, right? T to SS and T to SSS. So it's a teacher to student to student to student. So they're all talking to each other there. So overall, Unit 1 is done. It was done a little bit last week, and so we're on to Unit 2 already. Overall, I mean, for all the essential reading, I don't think I didn't do a lot of the essential reading, to tell you the truth. Sadly, I did some of it, but it just wasn't enough. That's not the one I wanted. Where did I put it? Here. Nope, I don't have it there. Innate behaviorism. Okay, well, tough luck. The only thing that I would have done differently, I think, was spend a little bit more time on, what would you call it? Well, reading some more of the essential reading, getting through these books that they actually ask you to do, just so it's a little bit more, I guess, reading the official books that they're drawing all of this information off of in the first place. That being the case, I have found that the courses that the stuff that I'm reading here anyway, is pretty. It tells you pretty much a lot of the things you know, not all the things you need to know. So moving on to Unit 2, which is I'm going to have to work on this week. As you can see, I've only done 11 out of 14, 2 out of 7, etc. So I haven't done too much reading this week just yet, but read part of the chapter 8. I mean, it's about 24 pages, that chapter right there. Discourse, was this the one that it shows you? Discourse for analysis. No. I do want to find that. How to teach speaking. No. I'm actually looking forward to sort of reading this one, and then also Sound Foundations is the other one that I kind of want to read quite a bit on, because that apparently deals with a lot of how language is actually generated overall. That being the case, so I mean, it's only 5 chapters this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the exam focus as well, where again we're focusing on paper 1, tasks 1 and 2, guidelines, revise some key items related to the course content, being whatever. So I will take a look at this. So these are more. I don't want to look at the answers just yet because I haven't done them. Shoot! Oh no! I've clicked all of them, so now they're all check marking. Oops. Oh, quizzes. That's good. You can do quizzes easier than you can do tutor tasks, I think. And then once you're done, basically. You don't have to think about it anymore. But so with this exam focusing on some of the different aspects of the, just breaking it down a little bit. And I guess they'll test your terminology, your knowledge terminology there. Overall, end of unit. So this is the whole thing, the whole breakdown of what we're working on this week. For Unit 2. And again, like these units, they just sort of repeat themselves. It's about grammar, writing, discourse is the big one that's popping up in this unit as well this week. I don't know how long it's going to take me to go through all the reading. Going through the unit reading, like this stuff, doesn't take too long, maybe half hour each, depending on how much time you spend on each of the... so that's reading the material and then making notes as well. But how long does it take to do the tutor tasks? I mean, that depends on sort of your own speed and how organized you are in terms of how good your memory is and being able to research the answers that you need. One site that I found actually very good that I was using was... We can... do this. English page. Where was it? That's not going to work. English page. There we go. This one is actually very good because I used verb tenses here. And this chart itself is actually very good. Very impressed by, how easy it is. I remember pulling up this chart in the first year that I was teaching after doing the CELT. I'm like, this is just gold. Why have I never created this before? Why have I never seen this before? I probably have, to tell you the truth. I just never really paid attention to it. So that being the case, that is been very helpful. And you click through on these things, and it gives you a full advertisement first, and then a full explanation of like what the form is, how it changes, like use 1, use 2, parallel actions. Like it explains in such depth each verb tense to the point that I'm going, wow. And it gives you so many examples that it's almost bizarre, just how standard it is, to tell you the truth. In terms of like you wonder what some of these the answers are for your tutor tasks, and you take a look at the sentence that they give you, was climbing out, and you go here, was climbing, working at, well, it's not those there, bang, okay, was climbing out. And then it starts talking about some of these things. I did not find out where I was climbing out from, so I'm not entirely sure, but or coming to class, no, that's different. Or always complaining, so dealing with this, repetition and irritation, climbing out. Wow, and good question. Don't know. Never did look it up. Never did find it, but whatever. Tutor Tasks is done and submitted anyway, right? So that was Unit 1, and on to Unit 2 for the Delta. I hope you guys are doing well as well with the Delta, and hopefully you're you're not too swamped with everything so far, that you're able to stay up and keep on treading water. It's a lot of reading. That's it. But as my instructor said, if you've been teaching, if you have the CELTA, if you've been teaching, so if you have like actual experience in the classroom, and you've probably been exposed to a lot of the terminology anyway, or a lot of the different bits and pieces of the ESL industry. It's just a matter of putting academic terminology to what you probably know, and I think that's going to be the hardest thing, is explaining it, because when the way that you understand it, it might actually overlap with the terms that they give you. So you might be thinking, well, it's this and this, when in reality, it's this and this combined, when in reality they actually separate these two elements in one way. So kind of like what would it be? Needs assessment and discourse and needs analysis and syllabus design, something like that. It's like you're kind of like, well, aren't those sort of the same things? And they are, but they're defined differently. Because a good syllabus will address the needs, but you need to do the needs analysis before you do the syllabus, right? But part of your syllabus will be a needs analysis. So that's where you kind of, as a teacher, you're going to have to hand in your syllabus, but because that's what the administration office usually wants. But in terms of your students, you'll have no idea what they suck at or what they're good at, right? So that's where sometimes you think the reality of the situation is that it needs to be broken down a little bit more than you think necessary. But there you go. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, and of course, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, and I'll have another video shortly updating you on how Unit 2 is going. All right, thanks for watching. We'll talk again. Bye-bye.